any food that your mom or grandma used to make that you wish you could have right now? My mom used to make a dessert called Swedish Valsekaka, and this video is going to be a demonstration of how to make it. As I've been thinking about this channel, one of my goals in retirement is to make sure that our family history is learned from my mom while she is still alive, because she's our family's historian. And when she goes to heaven, we will lose that wealth of stories and experiences that she remembers about our extended and even our immediate family. My sister-in-law Gina, who lives in Oklahoma with my brother Dan, has challenged me to try to document as many details as possible that my mom knows while she is still alive, or still has her wits about her. So here goes. When Mom and Dad moved to Stanwood, Washington as a young couple with my sister Debbie and I, we were, I think, 1 and 3 years of age. She worked part-time as a nurse at Josephine Sunset Home. One of her co-workers, Mrs. Eleanor Friedland, gave Mom this recipe for Swedish Valsekaka because she told Mom that she took this to potlucks and never brought any home. Mom still uses that recipe card that was handwritten by Eleanor almost 60 years ago. Have you kept handwritten recipes on recipe cards? Comment below about your favorite recipes and tell the brief story. This can be really interesting as the years go on for this channel. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe, hitting the dark bell button so you'll be notified with each video that I upload. Well, Mom dutifully took her recipe, the same recipe that she has carried with her as she's moved and all that. It's still there. And I took a picture of it, so I'll attach this here. Because we went up to my sister's Debbie's house to make sure that we knew how to make Valsekaka. And we'll use this video to show our children and our grandchildren, but we'll let you in on the process as well. So before you begin, preheat your oven to 350 degrees. And we start making a crust as like a shortbread. You essentially add 1 cup of flour, 1 stick of butter, and then you cut the butter into the flour as if you're making a pie crust, right? So till it all gets small little pea-shaped nodules, and then you start adding it'll end up being between 3 and 3.5 tablespoons of cold ice water. And then you'll need to divide that in half, and then you're going to need to lay those because you're going to make 2 strips that are 3 inches wide and 12 inches long, and you're going to put those on a cookie sheet. Although my mom would, I remember baking those in those like the 9x13 cake pans, if she was going to a potluck or something like that, because that would then protect it, because it will raise up a little bit as you'll see. Well, to make the topping over the crust, it's kind of like an eclair, but it's not like puffy like an eclair, but it has that sense. It almost is eclair-like. So what you do is you start by boiling a cup of water, and then you add a stick of butter until it melts. And then you remove it from heat. You don't want to forget this. You want to add the almond flavoring. It's 1 teaspoon of almond flavor to the water there. Then you're going to take 1 cup of flour, dump that in all at once, and start stirring that till it's incorporated. You're then going to add 3 eggs, but just do 1 at a time. You beat it; it'll be a little slippery, until it incorporates. Add the second egg until you have the 3rd egg added, and so it's all incorporated nice and smooth. And then you're going to pile that onto the crust, and you're going to want 2 equal layers over the crust. So here's a picture of what Debbie and I did when we were at our training session. We didn't do very good, and in fact, I'm going to call it an epic fail. Even though it was delicious, but it did not meet Mom's standards. Do you see how different they are in size? Now, we didn't know, but apparently when Mom made this, she actually had a ruler that she kept in a drawer. She knew where that ruler was. So whenever she made this, she would take that ruler out, because the recipe says the crust should be 3 inches, so it should be 3 inches wide by 12 inches long. She would take that ruler and make sure she was 3 by 12. Both of them would then be identical. Now, Debbie and I, we just eyeballed, oh, how hard can this be? Well, it didn't look as good as when Mom makes it. So anyhow, so that's something. Take a measurement, 3 inches by 12 inches. That's great. So anyhow, so then you go ahead and bake this for about 30 minutes. Towards the end, you do want to watch it. You want it just to be light golden. So here's an example of what they look like. This is how you want it to look when you pull it out of the oven. Now, since you have to let them cool before you frost them, and don't skip this step, because if you put the frosting on when it's hot, it's going to drip off and melt, right? So don't do that. Cool it, let it cool. But while it is doing that, you need to make the frosting. So take about 3/4 of a stick or half a stick of butter and a couple cups of powdered sugar, and add a dash. Mom, even though I don't think the recipe calls for it, but Mom puts a little bit of salt, and then she adds a little bit of almond extract. You can put a little bit of vanilla extract. Just kind of play with it just a little bit if you want to tweak it a tad. But and then just a bit of milk. Well, how much? I don't know. You've got to make it. I will say that when we made it too thin. So it was kind of like how the frosting you would put over a cinnamon roll, but that really, Mom wanted it thicker, and so she added more powdered sugar into that to make it, and it really had a tight consistency to it. So I will show you as I do this, because when you put that on top of the Valsekaka, it needs to have some structure to it. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and take some chopped either walnuts or pecans or almonds, whatever you have, you want to sprinkle those over the top, and it will be absolutely delicious. And I think the reason that I wanted to record this video is not just for the sole purpose of showing you how to make Valsekaka, but to remind us to pay attention to the things that our loved ones share or do that we should learn, so we can pass it on to our children and families. Is there something that you learned from your parents or aunt or uncle that you carry with you and that you've taught to your kids? Share those below. If you remember a food that a relative fixed, but you don't know how to make it because you never took the time to learn or never had a chance to learn, comment below. This will be a wonderful journey for us. And I may do some other ones like my Uncle Robert's chocolate pie. There's lots of things that I remember. And as time goes on, if you like this type of content and you really engage with it, we can make more videos showing the foods that we make that are near and dear to our families. So thank you so much for coming on this journey with me. Don't forget to like and subscribe and tell your friends to do that. It's going to be quite a ride. And until next time, thank you. Bye.